Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, welcome. Why is Kevin here, Andy?
Because Kevin lives in Canada, and we're doing the documentary film about Canada, Strange Brew.
I got something funny is brewing at Elsinore Castle. Am I right or what?
Something funny. Kevin,
It's just a theme.
is this a documentary? Is this how it is in Canada every day?
Well, yes, all of our breweries are run next door to insane asylums. The breweries are run by the same guy who runs the insane asylum. This is pretty much a common thing in all Canadian cities. Yes.
Actually, while we're on the subject,
Wait, does the liquor store work like that in Canada?
I was very interested in knowing if that's how
Every American wants to know that first. They say, "What is this fucking post office beer store you have?"
with the conveyor belt going with the beer
so
coming
great.
down it.
It is this unique combination of a beer store, the DMV, and the post office. We have this in like almost every province. Alberta went with private liquor and beer stores, so they're more what you're familiar with. Here you've got a beer store that is owned by a private corporation that has a contract with the government. No competition, monopoly.
Good for them.
That's why you got miserable employees who don't give a shit about you, the DMV. That's why you got really utilitarian look to the whole place, post office, and limited supply, but you do have those lovely rollers that shoot the beer at you.
That was awesome. I wish I had that when I was growing up.
Case of Elsinore, 24 bottles.
Because mine would have been like Peels or Old Mill, please. Here's $3 for that.
So we're here to talk Strange Brew, which is rated PG, hour and 30 minutes, released August 26th, 1983. Do you know who directed it?
Well, I do know who directed it, but I'm glad you said August because that'll come up later. I'll remember that for later. Who directed it? Oh, yeah. Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas directed it.
That is correct.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
They say
Rick
that.
Moranis' first movie, and he decided he would direct it. So, you know.
Why not? What the
Wow.
hell? That guy's a genius.
That first scene where they're like doing the MGM tiger or lion tail, and he's like, "I'm directing this," and then the other ones, "I'm directing this." It was like they really did direct this, but
They weren't just joking.
it wasn't just
But
a
it might
joke.
have-
That lion looked like he was starting to get a little upset.
That was great.
He was roaring off
When he
screen.
roared, he's like, "Hey, shut that hoser!"
How drugged up was that poor fucking lion? He didn't survive the production. I don't give a shit. Poor
Yeah, I don't
goddamn
remember
thing.
seeing anything at the end of the movie
You think
saying
they're like, "Rick, it's cool, man. He's drugged up, man. Just like yank him on his tail." Like, okay.
there's nothing at the end of this movie saying like no animals were harmed during the making.
Do you have those rules in Canada, or can you just harm
Yeah,
animals?
yeah. I want a I'm a lawyer. I'd like to see your definition of the word harm. Okay, that was not a happy lion. I don't give a shit.
I think Kevin's locked up over there.
His audio is still good.
Yeah, no, that's audio is fine.
I'll give you
What do
the
you just want?
IMDb description here. We got Canada's most famous hosers, Bob and Doug McKenzie, get jobs at the Elsinore Brewery, only to learn that something is rotten with the state of it. And then I got something is rotten at the Elsinore Brewery. Bob and Doug McKenzie, as seen on SCTV, helped the brewery founder's daughter, Pam, regain the brewery founded by her recently deceased father. But to do so, they must confront a suspicious brewmaster and two teams of vicious hockey players. Now that was good timing. We haven't had that kind of timing in a long time, Kevin. So he's putting on a show for you, Kevin.
Well, it's across three banks, so I'm definitely going to screw a few of these up.
3 banks worth of sounds. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
He said there was so many sound bites that he wanted to get from this one,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Kevin,
If you get Geddy Lee in here, I love you forever.
he's not here. He's not here. Kevin, are you a SCTV fan from like back in the day?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like-
Yeah, from
like-
way back in the 70s, before it was in the States.
So you knew about like the McKenzie brothers before Strange, because I didn't know about them.
There were a
until-
lot of TV commercials too before the movie as well, right?
Yeah, no, but I mean, I watched SCTV before they brought those characters in, when it was just, you guys like Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara.
John Candy too, right?
John Candy, all these guys who went
man.
on to better things.
That had to be awesome.
Joe Flaherty.
Yeah, Flaherty. I mean, it was such a weird show. It wasn't SNL. It wasn't Saturday Night Live at all. It had a much weirder vibe to it. It was a way more surreal on some of the stuff they would used to do.
More Canadian.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. The Great White North sketches, which is where they introduced Bob and Doug McKenzie, those were actually probably some of the straighter sketches that they had in terms of the humor.
I saw that they made them put those on SCTV because they needed something Canadian for the show.
Yeah.
And and those two were just like, we'll do something Canadian. Don't worry about it. And that's what they gave them.
Whenever I think SCTV, I think of Joe Flaherty and Chiller Monster Theater.
Right.
I think of what's his name? The old man. He just Zachary. Chiller Theater. Let's start with this cast. Rick Moranis playing Bob McKenzie.
Sorry I ralphed, Bab.
You shouldn't have had that chocolate milk.
I know. Sorry about your sweater.
Sorry about your sweater is one of my favorite lines. I say it to people every so often, and they have no idea what it
is a very specific line.
I'm upset that you cut it off there, because the next line is the one that really kills me. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you. That's my favorite.
And then,
I almost just did that one.
The next scene is them all together, the three of them, all their heads are, and he's like right behind both of them. Like, well, that puke breath is definitely getting in both of their faces right now.
What do you got? You got another one?
No.
Oh, look like you were about to play one. No,
I'm trying to figure out how to work them in here.
Okay.
We need to get you
want to try
a screen to touch. We need that, and you can put Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas, and you can just hit them.
You want to try Rick Moranis' top four?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
No.
Whoa.
Ghostbusters?
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should let our guest go.
That's all right. I would have gone with Ghostbusters, but Parenthood?
Yes.
Parenthood. Great movie. Is Strange Brew or any...
Strange Brew is, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Is that 3 of the 4?
That's 3 to 4, yeah.
And we should get the 4th?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. What are we missing?
Ghostbusters 2.
No.
Oh. Spaceballs the movie.
Spaceballs the movie.
Oh, baseball, sure.
Dark Helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, man. That might be the best top 4 we've ever done for anybody.
You got it rather quickly,
no
too.
time
And
at
they're
all.
all great movies.
Yeah. Dave Thomas played Doug McKenzie, and his top 4 is a little tougher.
Yeah, I would imagine his... now...
Dave Thomas was a guest star on a lot of TV shows as well. That was like a lot of... he would be a 1 or 2 episode here, 1 or 2 episode there kind of guy.
We was at a party, and a friend of ours, a cop, had some, and he puked. And he said, come here and get free beer, or he'll press charges.
I didn't realize there was so much puking in this movie till right now.
That sounded weird, though.
Did it?
It sounded
a little slowed down.
Yeah, it was a little
Yeah.
slow, yeah. But
He was drunk.
What do you think? You going to try his top 4?
Kevin, give me one of his top 4.
Okay, besides Strange Brew, we're going to assume that's in there.
It's not
I'm
in
gonna
there,
say
no.
It's not in there.
It's not in there. Oh,
No.
okay. Arrested Development.
That is in there. Can you
he's-
tell me how many
he was-
episodes he's
He
in?
was so...
He's
was
only
in
in
5
5
or 6
episodes. That's right.
Five.
He got it.
Five,
He's so
yes.
good in
5
that.
episodes, yeah.
I forget the character's name, but I remember because
Great.
you
But
don't
he,
see him
I do
often
remember.
enough
I
in
remember
anything.
him in there. I don't
Yeah,
remember his name
I
as well.
definitely
though.
remember him in that too. Yeah.
I was actually thinking of doing a rewatch of Arrested Development,
Man, those first couple seasons are great.
but I'm in the
He's
middle. I'm
that.
in the middle of a Taxi rewatch right now.
That'll take you a while to get through.
That's a funny one.
It's
Yeah.
fun though, man. I'm really enjoying it.
One of my favorite Dave Thomas appearances ever, and now I'm drawing a blank on this movie, is
I think I know what movie you're trying to take. I think it might be.
it's the Las Vegas. They have to get to the
Is
place.
it like a race?
Yes, it's like a Mad world.
Yeah,
It's
you
got
got
it's
it.
it's
Is it
Mr.
a race?
Bean. Oh, it's Rat Race. Yeah. He's so
That's in his
good.
top 4.
And he,
Rat
oh, is
Race.
it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay,
there
I
you
love
go.
him, and he's great in that. He's like John Cleese's number 2, and he sends him to do
I
stuff.
never
but
saw
he-
the movie, but he's in it. Yeah.
He's so good in that.
I don't think you guys are going to get the other 2, so I'm going to give that. He's in 2 episodes of The Blacklist, and he's
Wow,
in,
is he really?
and he's in 5 episodes of Bones.
Wow.
I never watched
I
that.
don't know Bones.
Yeah.
Okay, see, the thing of it is, he does more writing than acting
Yeah.
now, so he may have written some of those episodes.
That's true.
Hmm.
You're right.
Yeah, because I know you never
That
see
seems to
him in
make more
front of the
sense that he would have
behind the camera.
written one a Bones episode. And maybe he was.
But
in
I do
it,
feel he's like one of those guys. Like as I was growing up, I was always like, "Hey, he's the guy from Strange Brew and stuff like
and he'd
that."
be playing a
But-
straight laced guy kind of.
yeah. But it was probably like those one-off TV shows and stuff like that.
Then you got Max von Sydow. Am I saying that correctly?
All right,
You
Ronnie.
are.
You came here with a mouse in a bottle. Now you are the mouse.
He plays Brewmeister Smith.
What a great name!
Smith.
If I ever
That's the only
change,
time he's ever played a Smith. I'm going to go with
if
that.
I ever change my name, it's gonna be Brewmeister Smith.
He died in 2020, age 90, undisclosed causes.
That guy has been around since 90. Obviously, he's a lot older
Yeah.
than us, but he's been around forever. Like I remember him growing up, and he was in drawing a blank now.
I'll tell you.
No, he was in. He was in Minority Report. He was
That's
the
in his
bad guy.
top 4.
Oh,
Minority
nice.
Report.
Oh.
Yes.
and he was in.
There's one that you should have got right away. I'm upset that you.
Oh, he
didn't
was
get it right away.
Ming the Merciless
Ming
and
the
Flash Gordon.
Merciless.
Flash
Yes.
That's
He
my
was in
favorite.
Victory.
Gordon. Victory.
He was in the soccer movie.
the one with
Callahan.
Stallone and Pele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay. Yep.
That's
'Cause
not
it's
his
one of
top
the-
4 though. Yeah.
Oh, he plays a lot of Nazis.
He is a great Nazi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really is a great Nazi. If that term can be, if those two words can be used together, he is a
I think
great
get the pause a
Nazi.
little more in between.
He is a great Nazi.
There you go. That's better. Yeah.
Thank you.
His others were The Seventh Seal
Mm.
and Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close.
That just came out, right?
I
That
don't know.
must have been his last movie.
You're thinking
was
of.
like a-
You're
It was like a 9/11 movie.
Yeah, that's the Tom Hanks movie, 9/11.
Yeah.
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 He was also in Force Awakens. Not that that should be in his top 4, but like, it was the strangest thing that in the first scene
I
of
forgot about that.
the new Star Wars movie that everybody was jerking off over. All of a sudden, I'm like,
Yep.
"Holy shit, it's Max von Sydow!" And then,
You're like,
and then it wasn't. And then he was dead. I'm like,
you're
"Wow!"
like, is that Brewmeister Smith?
But I was so shocked that they got him to be in that movie, and then immediately killed
Killed.
him. I was like, "Why did Max show up?" He had obviously he had to do like 3 hours of work.
He got
They're
Darth
like,
Maul.
They're like,
He was
"Here's a-
Darth Maul.
He made it not to the first scene ending, and he was dead." But I was like, "Wow!" I'm like, "All right, he got a nice paycheck, I'm sure." But it was just so
No, I call-
crazy that it was in
I
it.
call that being Vincent Priced. Because what happens is they hire an old guy. He comes to the set. They say, "Holy shit, this guy's practically dead." Suddenly they cut back his role and give him like 5 lines, and he's done in 10 minutes.
Is that like
That's what they did.
Edward Scissorhands?
Yeah, that's what they did to Vincent Price. They hired him. He came to the set. They said, "Oh my God, this guy's almost."
Like, I can't believe he showed up.
How did we get insurance on this guy?
Playing Claude Elsinore was Paul Dooley. I love Paul Dooley.
Still alive.
Still alive.
He's 95
Wow,
years
really?
old. Yeah.
Damn.
I know
Wow.
he's definitely. I don't want to.
Go ahead. Let's hear his top 4. You want to take a first shot, Kevin?
I'm going to take the easy one. 16 Candles.
16 Candles is correct.
Wow.
Yes.
He's also Wimpy in the
That is
Popeye
yes,
movie.
that is
Forgot
what I
about
remember
that.
him
As
from.
soon as I
Yes.
saw him, I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Wimpy!"
I had it here. That was my first thing. As soon as I saw him, I knew Whippy. I love that movie, Popeye.
But yeah, 16 Candles. I remember he was the dad, right?
Yes,
He's,
yeah, that's dad.
Molly Ringworm's dad.
There's 2 more.
Ringworm.
You got 2 more.
He's like one of those guys that's like always in stuff, but
I don't think you're gonna get him, so I'm gonna give him to you. Breaking Away,
the bike movie.
the bike movie. Yep.
Right, right.
Okay.
I think he played one of the guy's dads.
Of course.
Even back then, he was playing the.
Yeah, and Hairspray.
I never saw
The
that.
movie Hairspray. I
The
think
John
that came out
Travolta
in
and
the
drag
80s.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
I think it came out in the 80s. But he plays Cheryl's father on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how many episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm Paul Dooley is in?
Really?
Yes.
4.
You don't know that? You still
I
don't know?
don't remember that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember him being on there.
You got to guess?
Well, I never saw many of them.
Kevin, did you watch Curb?
I do watch Curb, and I didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah, I didn't.
He's in 6 episodes.
6?
as
Wow.
Cheryl's
Wow.
father, yeah.
Wow.
So
And
he's
he
Robert
still could
Kennedy
come back.
Jr.'s
He
father-in-law.
still could come back,
He still could come back in the next season because didn't they just film it?
and he's not dead. I thought that's what you meant. Cheryl's still alive, and so is he. So he could always come back.
Then we got Lynn Griffin playing Pam Elsinore.
Yeah, if she did anything, I didn't know it.
She was cute though.
Yeah,
She
well,
was cute.
Strange Brew made it in there, but she was in a 1983 horror movie. We could do it possibly. Curtains.
I don't know. What that
It's on our
means.
list of possible horror movies for this year. But Dream House and Black Christmas is also.
Oh, Black Christmas. Okay, yeah, I know that. I don't know her, but
And coming up next, Angus McInnes as Jean Rosie LaRose.
ex-Montreal Canadian, right?
Yep. His top four.
Kevin, are you a Maple Leaf fan?
I'm a Maple Leaf
Okay.
fan.
All right, we shouldn't.
And
talk
even
about
if he were a Maple Leaf, I would say that Rosie LaRose makes for an actor makes a really good hockey player.
he looked like a hockey
Oh
player,
my
right?
God. No expression.
He's a little bit stiff.
A little bit.
You know what it looks like he could be doing? Sitting in the cockpit of an X-wing fighter.
as the gold leader.
Sorry, not an X-wing, a Y-wing.
He's a gold
Because
leader.
Gold leader.
Oh, is that the Star Wars?
Yeah, he's gold leader.
Episode 4, A New Hope. He gets killed.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
Of course he does.
Kevin, what else is he in Star Wars? Because you said two things.
That's right. He comes back
He comes back.
in Rogue One.
Yes.
Okay.
He has a voice. He has the voice of,
Just a voice.
of Gold Leader.
wow.
When at the end of Rogue
great.
One, where all
Right at
the
the end,
guys
yeah.
that you know by face from episode 4 come back, he's in there and he recorded new dialogue for
Nice.
Rogue One.
Wow.
That's good. I like
Yeah.
that.
But he looks
I'm
more
sure
like a
they
hockey
will.
player than a Y-wing fighter.
This one
Just
I'm
a
going to
big
see.
square-jawed guy.
This is a question I asked Andy yesterday before we watched the movie.
Uh-oh.
I asked you, do you know who was the father
Oh.
of Bob and Doug McKenzie?
And I didn't look it up.
Oh,
And I still
I-
don't know.
don't know
I
who that
definitely
was?
know that one. It's
You
I-
still don't know
I
who
knew
that
that.
was?
I didn't
play,
look it up.
Play a voice. Do you have a voice here?
I want you hosters to get me a fresh case of beer first thing in the
Now,
morning.
I will be honest when I say, as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, that is definitely Brian Doyle Murray. I was like, that's definitely his voice. And then when they showed him humping the mom, I was like, oh, that's not him.
You want me to tell you who it is?
Play the clip.
super
play the clip
super
again.
famous person.
Oh, yeah.
I want you hosters to get me a fresh case of beer first thing in the morning.
I can hear why you got Brian Doyle Murray.
Well, now if I was going to guess, I'd say it's Yosemite Sam's voice.
That's
So-
who it is.
Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc.
How awesome is that?
And was that him humping the mom too?
No.
Was it like
No, that was
the
Dave
mom and the
Thomas.
dad are Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas.
really?
I swear to
I
God.
did not know that.
And I didn't notice that when I saw it the first time, and
I
I
didn't
noticed it
notice it
today when I
either.
watched
That's
the movie.
awesome. I
Till
didn't
now.
pick that up when I saw
I didn't know
it.
that either. But I did know that it was Mel Blanc as just the voice of Mr. McKenzie.
How the hell did they get Mel Blanc's voice? For
They got
this?
him. He came in for 1 hour, one day. They paid him $10,000.
Oh, that's why they got him. $10,000.
$10,000 of beer. Yeah.
In 1983 money. Was it Canadian dollars?
Just to come in
though?
here and say, "You hosers better not be drinking all my beer."
That was great though when they're like pouring the dog's bowl into the.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
All
He dropped your beer, Dad.
All he cared about was like, give me a beer.
You boys better have a case of beer in there tomorrow.
Oh my god!
Great spending Dad's beer money.
They spent half their budget just to get Mel Blanc to do the voice of the dad. That's awesome.
I had one
But
more.
you know
I still think it's
what's
even
really
better
great,
than-
I want to add one thing,
ahead.
because I realized it about an hour ago. Because Mel Blanc is in this movie, there are 2 Barney Rubbles in this movie.
Oh yeah, Rick Moranis.
Yeah, Rick Moranis. Yeah,
Wow,
I had that in my notes. And it's
Oh,
something.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, but that's good. Yeah.
that's so crazy. I mean, like, I why would you even spend the money to get Mel Blanc? You get any random
I don't know.
person
I think it was
to do
probably
a
just
voice.
that. They probably just wanted to meet Mel Blanc.
Oh, maybe that's
Yeah.
and that's the best reason. They're like, we got studio money, let's do it, eh?
I have one more from the cast, and that's Buddy the dog. Buddy the dog played Hosehead the dog. That's his only credit.
When Hosehead rolled up the roof, Connor was just like, "What the hell?"
And
Did
why
you get a
did
score from Connor?
No, he was supposed to send it to you
and why did
Oh,
he
he didn't.
why did he look like a skunk? Did I miss something there? Like what?
so that he
happened
could
there?
stop the October.
I know, but when
Yeah.
they showed him in the kitchen when they were feeding him the beer, he didn't have the white stripes on him.
yeah, he did.
Did he really? Even then,
But it was over the top. Yeah.
Maybe I didn't notice that because when he came out running, I'm like, that looks like a skunk. And then when he arrived at the Oktoberfest, they're like, it's a skunk. I'm like, what's happening now? This is one of those movies where there's a lot of no quality control here.
I sent them a text.
No real explanation for anything that's going on.
No, especially like the all of a sudden magical electronics that was going on in that place.
Or when Hosehead flew and all of a sudden a cape came out of his collar.
And then fell off for no reason. He kept flying. And he looked back actually like, oh, there goes my cape. I guess that fell off, eh? But like,
Because it makes sense. That's why Mel Blanc is in the movie, because they wanted to make a
spoil
cartoon.
the whole movie, but like, how did Max von Sydow, Beermeister Smith, get electrocuted by the little lights? I
can tell you how Max von Sydow got into the movie.
Oh, how did he get? Because that's a big get too.
Yeah, the role of Brewmeister Smith was written with Max von Sydow in mind, but Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas thought actually enlisting him would be impossible. They requested von Sydow to the MGM studio, and studio head Freddie Fields telephoned the actor in Stockholm, Sweden, and instructed the co-directors to tell him the story. It turns out that Fields, then president of MGM, had just recently produced Victory in 1981, which had co-starred von Sydow. So he sent the esteemed actor the script. Instead of hashing it out with Fields, von Sydow ran it by his son, who was a huge SCTV fan, and encouraged his father to take the role.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. Did you know that, Kevin?
I did not, so it's all the kids' fault.
But why was he wearing those gigantic fake choppers the entire time? Because
Oh my God, he
very
could barely keep them in his
They were
face.
very distracting. Every time he talks, and he's trying to keep those.
I wanted like another movie just on the insane
making
asylum
of this.
of the
Oh, it's-
insane asylum. You know, I would love more of that.
Well, it was amazing that those the insane people, the people in the insane part, became such great hockey players. I get that, like
What a
you're
music
playing
manager.
you're playing the right key on the keyboard there, but if you're non-athletic, you're not all of a sudden you can't skate all of a sudden, right? But they all could skate really well and
we forgot to mention that this movie is in 3B, 3 beers, and it looks good.
3 beers in it makes it look good.
Wow,
eh?
you know what? I got to be honest. I
Hey.
did not drink beers before I watched this movie.
This movie was shot in 3B. 3 beers and it looks good, eh? Hoserama. Call it Hoserama.
Hoserama.
Hoser. And it is 2051, 10 years after World War IV.
That was great. That shitty
One
movie
of my favorite lines in the
beforehand.
beginning too is like, he's like, I'm getting whiplash from my burps.
I loved that first like 5 minutes where they were doing the Great White North and
Yeah.
like this is what it's like on TV and this is what it's not like on TV. This is a movie, and then the bad movie and the fans getting all riled up, and they had the
Fleshy-headed mutants.
they had the moths.
Do you know
all
how much it
queued
costs
up.
for 24 Elsinore?
For what?
A case of 24 Elsinore. Do you know how much it costs?
Shit, man.
I don't know.
I don't.
I'm
Kevin?
going to say $15.
$12.50.
$13.50.
$14.70.
Nice.
Ooh.
Very close,
15,
Kevin.
very close. That's really high for a case of beer back in 1983.
Taxes.
And then then you had Pam getting her car stuck in the fence, right?
Free health care ain't free.
Does the beer tax pay for all that free health care?
Everything is taxed to pay for that.
Did you like when they knocked on the door and it was Max von Sydow in the bathroom?
That was
Shaking
great.
off the last few drops.
He's in the and they just were motioning for that. I was like, what are they motioning at?
I just like that. We finally got Max von Sydow. We thought we could never get him. Okay, first second we see him, he's shaking the last few drops
If
off.
that's all we're gonna get him for, maybe he'll quit after today, but at least get that.
We got to get
Film
that in
that.
at least, yeah.
If he gets through the first day, we got him for the rest of the movie.
Crush your head. But in that. But I won't. Because I need you.
That music's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
And he's got such a great voice. I have 3 notes here about the beginning of this movie, so I want to talk about all 3 of them so that I don't forget.
Go for it.
I love the MGM start with the lion with the cranking of the tail and all that. But then how many the Molson cases all over the place. That was great. Like I was a big Molson drinker back in the day, and the fact that they had Molson cases stacked on top of each other all over the place throughout this movie, in the house, at the brewery, where it wasn't even a Molson brewery, but they had Molson cases all over the place. But apparently a labeling thing that labeled them as.
I have something on there. I gotta find it
Oh,
first. Let
please.
me find it. But keep talking. I gotta find it first.
In college, we used to drive over to Niagara Falls and buy Molson Canadian.
Molson Canadian was
it wasn't
it.
That not was 3.5.
Yes.
It was like 5%.
I was a big Molson Golden was like what I drank in my late teens, like 18, 19, but like Molson Canadian, that was, if you got some of that shit.
I found it.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, please.
Here you go. Before filming, all of the major breweries wanted the McKenzie brothers to appear in beer advertisements. You like that?
For our Canadian friends.
The filmmakers had the promise of Molson's brewery, but once the brewery found out that there was a joke in the film about putting a mouse in a beer bottle so that a complaint can be made in order to get free beer, they distanced themselves from the film. The filmmakers were also banned from filming in a Brewers retail store and from using the name Brewers Retail. They ended up building a replica of the store at a cost of more than.
Wait, is that the beer distributor place where they got the beer? That's the name of it?
Its generic name back then was Brewers Retail. That's literally what it was called. And you know what? They've changed it. Do you know what it's called now?
Wait, I got it.
The beer store.
I had that.
That's the name.
You interrupted me. I had it.
Sorry,
Spoiled it.
I wanted to make sure that
you didn't even let me tell that it cost $45,000 to build the replica. Shut the fuck up. Let me finish when I'm talking.
It took them $40,000 to remake.
I don't know. Somebody interrupted.
It's for Barney Rubbles. What the fuck?
To put a counter and a roller thing in.
Somebody interrupted. You know?
That should have cost them $17.
That's more than a real Brewers
How many
Retail
times
cost.
was A spoken in this movie?
Oh, see, that's my other note. I'm like,
oh my God.
When I was watching this movie, Michelle checked out before they even got to the couch in the Great White North's part of the movie. She was just like, I can't take it. I can't take all the A's. I get it. It's funny, but I'm not laughing. And she checked out. And by checked out, I mean she drank the martini and fell asleep. So, but the A's were ridiculous at the beginning. As the movie went on, it lessened. But
I have a total for you. So if you want to guess how many times was A said in this movie?
I'm going to say 115.
Damn, I was going to say 150. So when you were going for that, I'm like always going to say my number. 115, 150. Kevin?
90-minute movie, 170.
You speak the language, you know it.
The answer is 174.
Holy cow!
Shit!
He speaks the language.
I swear to Christ, I didn't look that up. Wow.
That was great, man.
Wow.
That was great.
Damn.
Now, Kevin, we've had you on this podcast, 4 times now? And I've never heard you say A once yet. So
I know.
What's up, A? Hoser? Like, why not?
You never said puke breath. You never said hurl. You never said anything cool.
Is hoser is that like
Pork your clothes?
dude? I say dude a
I know
lot.
where hoser comes from, at least where I think it comes from. It was a hockey thing.
Is it really?
If you're playing pond hockey, not indoor hockey, but pond hockey, you got to keep the ice going and keep it flat by hosing it down. The job of hosing
Somebody
it
was
down
a hoser. Okay.
goes to the losing team. So
so they
hoser
were
means loser.
hosers.
Gotcha. I like it.
I like it too. That's interesting.
And A is just, I don't know why. Do
know.
you know anybody that says A?
Yeah, but they're all from Wisconsin. People from Wisconsin say A to this day.
And don't forget this one.
Take off, you hoser. You take off, you numb.
You knob. I like that one. Take off, you knob.
Knob we say a lot. At least in the 80s, we were saying knob a whole lot. That one I'll admit to.
I like that one though. There's a if I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you. That's a great line. That was improvised, by the way. There was a sequel they were trying to do for 1999. It was going to be called Homebrew.
1999.
Wow, that's well too late.
You know, how many,
these guys moved on from this like in the early 80s, right? After
Rick
this
Moranis
came out.
retired by then.
Bob says that one time he mentions how many times Doug saw Jedi.
Oh, I have it. I have it in my notes.
How many times?
He said 17 times, but he also like like Return of the Jedi came out in May.
I'm going to tell you what's up.
And this movie was filmed well before Return of the Jedi came out. Because when you said at the beginning, when you said at the beginning, this came out in August.
What else?
You said at the beginning,
I know.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, wait a minute. They saw Jedi 17 times between the filming of this movie and when it came out.
In 6 weeks, yeah.
At one point, Bob says he saw Jedi 17 times, eh? Wasn't it? What isn't obvious is that Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, opened in May 1983, while production of Strange Brew had wrapped 5 months earlier in December of 1982, despite the film taking place in 1984. The McKenzie couldn't refer to it by its full title since the Revenge or Return issue was still up in the air while they were filming. Oh. So they can only call it Jedi.
That's great, except for the fact that he references the Luke, I am your father, which is obviously Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to reference Jedi at all. He could have said he saw Empire 17
but they
times.
They wanted to be with the time.
They were
because it was 84.
They were so with the times.
Yeah.
Like if I saw this in
I saw it about 17 times.
I
84.
I did not see this in like Kevin saw this in the theater in 1983, right, Kevin?
I did
not.
too.
Sure. I did not.
I saw it.
I saw all Star Wars movies starting with A New Hope.
No. I mean,
in the theater.
I didn't see Strange Brew in the theater in 1983.
No.
I thought you were talking Star Wars.
So I wouldn't have gotten that reference at that point. I wouldn't have known to.
Well, like ski.
No, all I'm saying is that they were so ahead.
I could tell it was December, by the way. I could tell it was December because when they're driving through the streets of Toronto, and I could tell it was Toronto, at the very beginning of the movie when they're trying to get home after the riots at their thing, you can see Christmas lights.
Wait, what? There's Christmas lights in America in December of 1983?
No? I'm just saying, I could tell it was December.
That's how you could tell it was they were filming in December.
That's how he knew it was filming then. Yeah,
but in America, you could tell it's like mid-February.
It could have been February still. Yeah.
In '83, I don't know. Maybe in '83, I think we were still under control and only doing it in November.
Do you know what this movie was based on?
The SCTV skit.
No, Hamlet is correct.
Hamlet? What?
It's based on Hamlet.
Elsinore. Elsinore's named the castle in Hamlet.
So that one thing,
the basic plot, as well as many of the name of the brewing company are references to William Shakespeare's Hamlet. The castle in Hamlet was Elsinore. The heir to Elsinore's father was murdered by her uncle, who then comes to her as a ghost. In Hamlet, the uncle's name was Claudius. In the movie, his name is Claude.
There was the ghost of the dad, for sure.
In Hamlet, the ghost inhabits a video game console. It happens.
And what was that video game console called?
Border Attack.
Border.
I think it was Border Patrol.
Border Patrol Attack, or
I definitely wrote it down.
I know it had an American flag and a Canadian flag.
It was galactic.
So it was that
Galactic Border Patrol.
Galactic
Border Patrol.
But you're right. It had an American and a Canadian flag, so that was the border that was being patrolled.
We're trying to keep those goddamn snowbacks out of the country, man.
Keep the smoke out. Fuck.
Those big cons are gonna love you, eh?
What do you mean?
You're a cute little guy. They're gonna be loving you from dawn until dusk.
Turn! Where are you gonna be?
I'll be in the cafeteria selling smokes.
I'll be in the cafeteria selling smoke.
Bob's name is shown in the fingerprinting scene. It's Robert Q. McKenzie.
Q. That scene when they go home after the movie fails and they go back, they drink the beers, the dog's drinking the beer, and the parents are not turning around, and you just hear the voiceover. I was like, is something going to happen here? Are they going to be horror monster kind of things? Because there's no reason for them to not turn around at all, except for the fact that it is Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas. Yeah. But I did not know that until a couple minutes ago. So I just thought it was so weird.
What did you think of the What did you think of the van jumping into the water?
With the AC/DC sticker on the back?
Yeah, it was right. But that was
Stones too, yeah.
Oh, was there a stone sticker?
The van jump.
Yeah, there was a lip sticker. Yeah.
The van jump stunt into Lake Ontario was performed from the vehicle driving off an 8.5-foot ramp, then flying through the air about 40 feet over the lake for about 175 feet prior to landing into 30 feet of water.
Now, normally, I write my notes down, and I expect myself to be sober enough to read my notes.
You have no idea what it is?
No. Well, and then if we don't do the podcast for days after, and I'm like, fuck, what do I mean by this? So I just looked at my notes right now, and I'm like, I don't know what I mean. And then I thought about it, and now I know what I mean. So I said, one of the better spinning newspaper gags ever. So the spinning newspaper with the news, and it was like a bra ad or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that now. Where they did the spinning newspaper after they got arrested, and then they actually had to like physically turn the newspaper over so you saw what the actual headline was, because there's just a bunch of tits, which I'm a big fan of.
Me too. I like this. They're neat.
Kevin, have you ever been up in the CN Tower?
Yeah, it's not something a local does a lot, but I've done it a couple of times. I stand on usually the one area of the CN Tower where there's clear plexiglass under your feet.
Will you walk across it? You do
no,
that?
No, you're within. You're safe, but you don't feel safe because you can see right through to the ground.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be able to do that.
I want to do that.
But you're safe. It's not like the people who actually, tether themselves to the outside.
No,
there are people who do
fuck
this.
that, dude.
Yeah.
There's a thing in Jersey City where you're looking down like 3 floors, and I can't do that.
I want to try that.
Like at the
there's
Grand
a bar
Canyon
right nearby, so I do it for 3 seconds, and then I go to the bar and for an hour.
No way.
When we road trip to Toronto, we got to do that.
Let's do it, man.
Kevin can show us where.
Yeah.
One of the other things about Max von Sydow in this movie, he was wearing the evil black gloves that he liked to taking off and putting back on. I'm like, why is he wearing the evil black gloves? And he would noticeably I'm taking off the gloves now and putting that back on, and then I'm taking off the gloves now.
I like when he was talking. He said, in movies when driving, they don't look at the road for a long time. That's because they're being towed, and they just looked at each other. And what did you think? It's a 90-minute movie, and there was an intermission.
Yeah.
What you guys think of that?
That was
5 seconds.
when they did the intermission. I was like, wait, I thought this movie was really short. I was nervous then. I really got wait. I don't have enough time now. This is gonna be another 3 hours.
What I love is they're trying to pull a cover up before that intermission, before the movie is halfway over. Every single main character knows what they're doing. This is the worst cover up ever. Even Bob and Doug know, and they're fucking stupid.
I like when the police were there, and the police were walking with Claude Elsinore, and he's like, Bonaparte? He's like, no, Napoleon. No.
Well, that's because he knew everything. He said, I'm super smart, and was like, Napoleon? Bonaparte? No.
Photographic memory.
Photographic memory. And, Kev, that's another thing I have. Do all police cars in Canada look like taxi cabs? Because they were all bright yellow, and
no, those cars were actually on loan from Toronto Metro. There was the Toronto Metropolitan Police Department cars.
They were bright yellow in the 80s. They aren't now. They've gone a very much a U.S. style now. The OPP cars
they were on loan.
Are literally black and whites.
I thought they just loaned a bunch of cabs to them and said, throw some cherries on top.
I know what you got for dinner tonight. 2 bowls of split please soup.
My brother's got some bleeding. Hey, take off. My brother's got a bleeding nose. We need some Kleenex or something.
Clark, please.
Clark's gonna give you some Kleenex.
When he sneezes. When he sneezed with the bullets.
More cartoon shit. Yeah.
That's such right out of a cartoon. Yeah.
Is that what court is like in Canada?
That goes along with why does he have a cape, and why is there electric? Not there was never an explanation to why all of a sudden did they show her dad getting killed on the screen on the video game?
Yeah, right.
And all of a sudden it just showed up there, and then he appeared later in the.
That's what made this movie 90 minutes.
Well, I was going to say it also made it, I guess, Hamlet, because he was the ghost coming back.
Let's go back further. If I've got a beer that makes you suggestible to violence, all right, so I play the music. That's one extra step for no good reason, and that makes you violent. How do I test this? Well, the only way I can test this is to put mental patients in Star Wars outfits and make them play hockey.
It was so funny because when I first saw them come out with the outfits,
put them in a boxing ring, have them fight. What
I was
are you
like,
doing?
why do these guys look like Star Wars characters? And then they reference Star Wars so much with it. I'm like, okay, it's not even funny anymore. It's just they look like Star Wars. But they have a hidden tunnel between the insane asylum and the brewery. I have no hidden tunnels in my house. I need to work on that.
What about when I think it's getting warmer in here, Pam said. And Bob said he didn't feel anything.
When he's in the beer vat? Yeah.
I think it's getting warmer in here.
I didn't notice anything.
I didn't notice anything.
And I got to say something about that because he saves them just a few minutes later. How does he save them from drowning? He drinks
it.
all the beer with his piss in it.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. He pissed in it before he drank it.
That's right.
Yes.
Here, I got another one from In the Tank.
My brother and I used to say that drowning in beer was like heaven, eh? Now he's not here and I got 2 soakers. This isn't heaven, this
Don't
sucks.
talk.
Kevin, I have a specific lawyer question for you. Do you
I
call
got
the
2 soakers.
Do you call the judge your worship?
Yes.
Do you really? Oh shit! Like when he said that your worship, I'm like, this has to be a gag, right?
No. Let's get it clear. You call a justice of the peace your worship. You call a judge. Back in the 80s, you would have said your lordship or your ladyship. They got rid of your lordship and your ladyship because, holy shit, it's not the 17th century anymore.
I like it, though.
Yeah, your worship is specifically for a justice of the peace. And I knew that because I used to appear before a lot of them.
Wow.
So,
I heard that and I was like, this has to be a joke when he said your worship, but all right.
When you appeared
That
for
is
them,
real.
were you a defendant or the lawyer?
oh, I look really rough tonight, do I? Okay, all right, it's fine.
Your worship, I swear I wasn't drinking and driving, eh?
I've handled some real Canadian cases too, guys using poison arrow shot up in the northern country. You're not allowed to do that. You shouldn't do
And
that.
why do they keep using tranquilizers? Like, just kill these guys. Why weren't they shooting them and murdering them?
with magic tranquilizers?
They were shooting them and then saying,
And the one
let's
poor
take their
bastard who they
body
keep-
somewhere else.
And the one poor guy on their own side who they keep shooting by accident.
Well, he was the only guy that could play the keyboard there.
He was good at it, though.
But why did they
He's good at
keep like tranquilizing them so they could drag them somewhere
That
else
made no
to kill
sense,
them?
And where the fuck did Max von Sydow and his buddy get exact matching outfits of Bob and Doug down to the hats?
I actually was very happy when I saw when they stunned them and Max von Sydow was whoever he was. I don't know, he was Bob or Doug, and he was actually. I saw his face when he picked up one of them and was walking with them. I'm like, wow. I'm like, he's an old man picking up this young guy, but he wasn't that old. He was probably younger than us now.
Yeah, he crushes a lot of heads, so he's strong. He's very.
When I look at Max von Sydow, I'm like, that guy's like a 90-year-old, but he's probably 50 here.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
they got his clothes. They horked their clothes.
Oh, right, because they stole them out of the locker.
Yeah.
Because when they were playing hockey,
Yeah.
they were obviously playing hockey naked underneath that white
I
uniform.
guess.
Then
you got to go commando. Yeah.
Then you have the trip to Oktoberfest.
What tank were they in? I wrote it down because I figured Jason was going to ask.
I didn't put that down.
13.
19. I only wrote it down because I knew Jason was going to ask.
I didn't get that one.
As soon as it came up, as soon as they were counting the tanks.
I went the price with the dollars. I went with. I didn't even catch that one. I did that a lot with the Love Boat, though. I was always doing the cabins. Remember?
Well, I now watch these things. Whenever a number comes up, I'm like, God damn it, that motherfucker's going to ask about this number.
Jeez, I gotta take a leak so bad I can taste it.
That line has many times as you heard it before. It's so funny when it comes from him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And then I got this, my last one of him in the tank.
Gee, I don't know how to do this.
Oh, not there.
Okay, how about here?
Ooh, that feels
When
good.
he was lifting him up. He was lifting him up. He was
Feels
like,
good.
I know we talked about this earlier, but like when I think it's Doug, he's on the conveyor belt going into the machine there in a Molson Canadian box, and then comes out with the labels all over him. But there's a
The
bunch
bottle
of
caps.
There's a bunch of Molson boxes. Are they just stealing other companies' boxes and relabeling them with their company label over it? The
Elsinore.
Elsinore.
yeah.
there is no real Elsinore beer. It's all Molson. Fuck.
Hey, by the way, Kev, is Molson a beer anymore? I never see that anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Is
yeah,
it?
Absolutely. Molson and Labatt's are still the two biggest brands.
Really? I mean, I never see Molson anymore. I used to love Molson, but I don't see it anymore.
What about Moosehead? Is Moosehead still around?
Moosehead is still huge. That's a Nova Scotia thing. Yeah, I like that.
Well, fuck
That's
them.
actually
They're
one of my
burning all their logs and smoking us out down here.
By the way, the grass is always greener. When we were in college, we would deliberately drive to Buffalo to pick up fucking bush.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know.
Are you comparing
why are we doing
Molson
this?
to Bush? Fuck you,
No,
man.
I'm just saying.
Bush is
It's
terrible.
what you can't get.
It's because you want something different, and you want what's not normal. Yeah,
It's not in the store here. It must be good.
I remember also going to Canada. Was it Anchor Steam? Was that
No, Anchor Steam's American.
Steam whistle.
Maybe Steam Whistle. Yeah, it was another one that was like super high alcohol. It was like 7 or 8%.
I remember the Labatt's. I used to like the Labatt's.
Labatt's.
That was good. Yeah, Labatt Blue. Yep.
Yeah.
But in the late 80s, early 90s, I was all about Molson. Man, Molson Golden.
Molson Ice for a while there. I
Molson
remember
Ice,
was
Molson
big,
Dry,
yeah.
but
Okay, yeah, the ice isn't there anymore. Yeah,
nah, that was a trendy thing.
What about Triple X? You got that anymore?
nah.
That was, I think, our version of their Molson Canadian. I
Right,
think the
yeah.
Triple X was.
Do you have much left in your notes there, or what?
I got one more sound
You
clip.
got one more sound. Let's hear it.
Steamroller. I'm steamrolling you. Take off.
That was ridiculous.
Steamroller.
I have it in my notes too. Steamroller.
The only thing I have is, when did they establish that this dog had superpowers?
They must have known.
That
They
was
gave
great.
him the map. They showed him the map.
And that was great.
None of them were
An aerial
surprised by
view.
this.
He's
Yeah.
like, look,
He's not looking. He's like, no, look over here. Just
pay
grab
attention,
his
man.
collar.
He's like-
No, look over here. And remember, take a right on I-14.
That dog liked his weenies, I guess, right?
He did. How do they control that dog to not eat that entire thing?
They're like, skunk, skunk.
And he didn't run out. Well, I mean, they cut it obviously after they started screaming, but then they just showed the dog on the table, and he's like, he's just eating one sausage, but there's a whole pile of them
There's a
there.
lot there. He'll growl if you came near him. What else you got, man?
I got one note. This is a really shitty
Let's hear it.
family because they are constantly threatening to call the cops on each other. Doug, counted. Doug was threatening to call the cops on his brother 3 times.
Oh my God. He's a
And the
bastard.
dad threatened to call the cops on both of them when they brought in 12 cases of beer. Both. This family wants to see each other in prison.
That was a
They're a
great.
bunch of dicks.
You're going to see them on Cops.
After they worked as the mouse inspectors or whatever the hell they were, and they brought all the beer home, and they showed that outdoor house scene where he's like, tell the neighbors they brought the beer home, and oh
The
my
boys
God.
have jobs.
Is that how it was in
Sounding
Canada?
of Yosemite
Everybody-
Sam.
It's so crazy, man. It's ridiculous.
I love watching these documentaries, man. I didn't know it was like that in Canada, man. I had no idea.
Don't like that. To
You
this
want
day.
to get down to some scores or what?
I got one score. My wife sat next to me.
I got Connor's score.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Awesome. My wife sat next to me and hated the first 5 minutes, and I don't know what she gave you as a score, but you can't
She didn't
count
give me
it.
a score,
Okay,
no.
good, because fuck her. Listen, man, I love this movie. It was very fun. I had a good time watching it, but in the annals of great comedies, it's not the top. So my score reflects that. It's a 75. It's a
I thought
75.
he was going to hit my score for a second.
I had a really good time watching it, but I don't know if I'll ever watch this again. I watched it a couple times back in the day, so
I'll go next, and I say I would watch this again. My score's a little bit higher than Andy's. I went with an 80. I love this movie. I'll quote this movie forever. But if a year or two from now somebody wanted to watch this movie, I'd be okay with it. I'd be cool with watching it. Let me give Connor's score. You want to guess what Connor gave it?
I give it a 63.
What do you think Connor gave it?
I'm going to say 68.
You want to guess what Connor gave it?
I was right in there too. 67.
65.
Nice. We all know Connor really well.
Nobody under the age of 35 is going to give this a really good rating.
You want to go first, Brian, Kevin?
I'll go because I think I'm going to shock you with my score.
Oh my God.
I'm giving it a 95.
Come on,
Ladies and
man.
gentlemen, this is the new Citizen Kane of the podcast.
Sense, man.
This is my favorite movie or TV episode or whatever we have done. This is my favorite one.
Now I wish I watched you watch this movie. I wish I'd watch you watching
watch
it.
this movie again now. You have to watch this with
I'll
him.
just watch him. It'll be going on behind me.
Wow.
I am
95,
stunned.
dude.
You should have let Kevin go first, man. How's he gonna how's he gonna beat that?
I'm not even going to try.
It just shows that Brian doesn't even understand the scoring system. I don't think he'd still get it, man.
No, it's awesome that he's got a movie that he likes, man. That's amazing.
How many times have you seen this movie in the last 30 years?
30 years?
Yeah. As an adult.
20 times, maybe.
Really? This is a movie you watch all the time.
I do.
We thought earlier today, we talked about this. We didn't think you were going to be a fan of it.
Yeah.
No, this is definitely my top 10.
Wow.
Okay.
I can do an
excited
entire
about doing this movie.
I can
for
do
so
an entire
long.
podcast about how shocked
I thought
now.
I thought I knew him. I don't think I know you.
I'm sorry.
No,
he is a fan
I'm
of
not
foreign
upset.
films, so we know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that we know about him. Yeah.
Kevin, I'm sorry to steal your thunder. What do you give this, man? As a hometown boy.
All right. This is a lot of different movies. Between like the first scene where you've got the hockey players fighting each other, that is something out of Rollerball. And then,
Nice.
And then at the end, towards the end, the lawyer says, "Don't worry about this. I'll take care of the press," and starts karate chopping them. And that's fucking Naked Gun.
Yeah.
So you've got Rollerball and Naked Gun in the same movie. It's a lot. They couldn't figure out what they want to do. And my big thing, this is the last note I had, was what if they had just started out with the really simple plot that Wayne's World did? You got a public access show and a big network wants to take it
You
over.
said Wayne's World, remember?
Yeah.
What if you'd just gone with that instead of this mess of one movie on top of another movie? Let's do a bunch of Star Wars references. They didn't know what they wanted to do. I
It was
love
Rust.
this
It
movie.
seemed Rust, right?
Yeah, I love it. I will quote it forever, but I can't give it higher than a 75 because the moment I think that, I realize, you know what? Not only is this not as good as Wayne's World, it might only be as good as Wayne's World 2.
I'm so happy you said Wayne's World because I was actually saying to Jason earlier today, Mike Myers definitely watched this and said, "This is how we're going to make the Wayne's World movie."
And this is how we can make it better.
Well,
Yeah.
whether they made it better or not, this was influenced.
Definitely. Or how we can make it different.
Yeah.
I like
I mean,
Wayne's
he
World
was
better than
influenced,
Strange
for
Brew,
sure.
but like I don't know if he set out to make it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, two guys doing a cable access show. It's the same concept as Great White North.
Yeah. So
I
what do we
love
got
it.
next week? We got either Risky Business or National Lampoon's Vacation.
Vacation.
Kevin, you want to come back on for either of those? Yeah, it's one of those two.
What do you want to do next?
Oh, well, one of them is another one of my
Tom
favorite
Cruise.
movies. Not the Tom Cruise.
Vacation.
Vacation.
Let's do
yeah.
Vacation next
All right,
week.
Vacation. Yeah.
I know I can get at least 3 people in my house's scores.
I know
of
one
them is
person
me.
in your house that wanted to be on for that one.
Oh, does Logan want to be on for that one?
Yeah, I believe
then
so,
I'll
yeah.
talk to Logan about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin, you're out. Sorry,
Nah,
you're
no
out.
problem.
No,
I
but
want to see the list of. I want to see the list of people that want to do Jedi. I mean, for Christ's sake.
There's
That
a
might
lot
be.
of- yeah.
Can you come down here in August? Because we might have people. We might have a forum for that.
Just have a round table.
We're going to have to move to the bigger table.
we will
Yeah.
move for that.
Town,
Yes.
town hall meeting on Jedi. Yeah.
Do you want to come on for one of our horror themes?
We got lots of horror movies coming up.
We got,
Yeah, sure. What's coming up?
What do we got? We got Twilight Zone, the movie. We got Dead Zone. We got Cujo.
I was gonna say there's tons of Stephen King. It's like
Christine.
Cujo, and Dead Zone. I think are all coming.
Twilight Zone, the movie is great because you've already mentioned it like 14 times.
Yes.
Anytime someone dies on screen, we're like, just like Vic Morrow.
What are you drinking, Kevin?
It's Yellowstone bourbon.
Wow.
Are you looking
another
it up?
bourbon drinker?
I'm drinking blackened. My kids,
What, Metallica?
for Father's Day, my boys got me a Metallica bourbon.
How is it?
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't get that here because we have a crappy liquor store. You've seen it.
Amityville 3D, Evil Dead,
Ooh, Evil
Cujo,
Dead.
Jaws 3. Is that a horror movie? Twilight Zone, Psycho 2, Dead Zone, Christine. Those are our horror movies.
And curtains.
And curtains. And what's Moriarty? Is that something?
Sounds like a Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, never heard of that.
I don't know. I got to look this up now. I have it in my list, but
I don't know if I know that.
oh, maybe it's Mortuary.
Mortuary?
Pencil me in for. Yeah, oh, okay. Pencil me in for Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, the movie. Kevin, you're in. Remember that?
I'll remember it.
Okay, he's a producer. He's got to remember those things. Man, I smoke weed.
Is weed legal in Canada?
It's legal there, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much every yeah, no, not pretty much. Exactly every province.
Nice.
Oh, really? Is it federally legal, or do you not have those kinds of rules in Canada?
No, we have federal criminal law. So the moment the government in Ottawa decided it was legal across the country.
You can fly with it, right?
Yeah. Inside the country, yeah.
Wow.
You don't have to worry about it.
Could he fly from Toronto to Newark?
Now, I don't know how that works.
Because it's legal in New
He's got to go
Jersey.
through customs, though, doesn't he?
But you got to cross the border. It's still illegal at the border.
I'm basically saying if you want to come for Return of the Jedi, bring some weed.
He could easily pick it up here.
Yeah, we got plenty here.
That's right.
I was going to say.
I got you, yeah. But if you can't find the weed, I would look for it. Where would you look for it, Andy?
I'm going to look for it on Spreaker.
Spreaker, that's right. And that's where you can find us. And that's where you can download us. And you can rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things everywhere you get your podcasts. It's the exciting and new podcast on all our social medias. It's The Jazoo over there on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. It's the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
Agonzo1 on Twitter, Agonzo1970 on Instagram. I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
And I'm Kevin from Canada.
Take off, eh?
Take off, you hoser.
They've been saving their allowance for weeks to see this movie. What am I supposed to tell them? Just what the heck am I supposed to tell them?